how do you maintain intensity and focus throughout a very long solo as a soloist and as an accompanist?
Larry.
I don't know. It's like as I age, I feel like I don't like long solos so much. I mean, it better be killing. Because, it's like it loses something after, three choruses or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, tighten it up. And it's always kind of a good thing. I mean, there's something about, I mean, what all these great musicians have given us, like Train, and his band and his way of playing the set, and it's like a lot of these really positive things that they've given. There's some negative baggage with it too, that when people don't fully get the whole picture, they pick up, oh yeah, I'm gonna play for 40 minutes because Train did that, and it's we're gonna get to this transcendental place because of that. And it's like, well, probably not, and as a bass player, I gotta be there the whole time. Piano player can lay out, whatever, but between us, me and the drummer, we've got to keep up that energy. So they better be giving us something to inspire us for that long solo.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I mean, I think that the better thing to be practicing is how can we tighten it up and play a lot in a couple choruses and get out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I hear that.
I mean, you don't play long solo.
Generally I don't. I mean, sometimes when it seems right.
Right.
My feeling about it is that I only play long solos when the music asks for it. When there's a door open for it, it feels like
Right.
The rhythm section's ready, and they're saying, "Hey, we feel like we want to do that." Then yeah, but I also think long solos are great when they're juxtaposed with shorter solos.
Yeah,
That's what makes them like, wow, this is exciting. They're going longer. What's going on?
that's
Not like this is the, long solo number 5 in a set of 5 tunes. After a while, okay, that's my opinion.
that's a good point. That's true. The variety.
And I agree with Larry. I think part of learning to being able to play a long solo involves being able to play a short one, play 1 or 2 choruses. If you could do that well, the individual would have some way to understand how to play longer solo, which means I think one is, at least from the horn point, Larry's point of view, is just really feel what the music is asking for you. Okay, that's sounds a little bit intuitive, but I think after a while of doing it, you can tell if the rhythm section is still going and giving it to you, you have more to say that is actually different from what you did in the last chorus. But if you don't have more to say, or if you might have more to say, but the rhythm section sometimes is telling you to finish, then finish. Even if you have more to say, doesn't mean you should say it.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't hang it.
So one thing helps in terms of playing longer solos is just to listen to what is, I always think of it as historical precedent. So listen to the people who played long solos and did it really well. What did they do? So one thing is, I always think about pacing. How do they pace their solos? Is it like starting at level 1, then level 2, level 3, or is it a setup for 2 choruses and then things start going by a chorus 3 or 4? Sometimes it's an arc that might be in, 3 choruses to set up, 3 choruses, you're kind of in the middle, and then and then the last 3 choruses, you're starting to come down. So on and so forth. I won't go into details, but just listen to, for example, how Train does that. He continues to rise to a certain point. There's a certain point where he's playing, slow. He's kind of like a preacher, you might say, like a lot of repetition with additions, right? And that'll happen for many choruses until he finally gets into the meat of the solo. When I say meat of the solo, when it starts to get more intense, maybe by that time everyone has dropped out. But if you start giving up all that information at the beginning, you need to stop after about 3 choruses. You're done. If you're setting it up for that and the rhythm section says, oh, okay, but you might start setting up for that and the rhythm section says, no, we're going to keep going. Then okay, it's not going to go there, right? It's just, there's a lot of just give and take and paying attention to when I say what the music wants, it means what everyone in the band is feeling.
Right.
Whatever that is. And also, what the rhythm section says. That's kind of like, we all have equal parts, but I think each instrument adds something. And I think the rhythm section in many ways is like the drummer bass matrix and maybe piano too is kind of like they're kind of like the heartbeat and orchestrators of the band. They kind of orchestrate the mood and the feeling of the tune. The saxophone player can't do that. You can muscle as much as you want, and if the bass player and drummer say, no, this is where it is, I mean, that's it. You can either fight against it the whole time or get with it. Really, I mean,
Right.
but that has a lot to do with playing longer solo. You have to see if the door is open for that. Main thing I would say is listen to historical precedents, see how others who do it well do it. Basically meaning pacing. Is it a long arc that goes up, it stays up the whole time and ends high? So it's like a golden mean. I always use that because that's kind of what it is. Long arc that gets high and then starts to come down at the very end. Is it peaks and valleys like this, kind of like Miles? I would say that it doesn't necessarily go anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't always have to go to the top of the mountain, preach, a huge sermon, transcendent. It's not always like that, long solos, Sometimes it's a different kind of story.
I always think about what Miles said about his idea of what a good solo for himself was when he passed it off really well.
Yeah.
So it's really like that's the most important moment,
A lot of times, totally.
Yeah.
The beginning and the end is the most important part.
Yeah.
The way you get out makes a big
Yeah.
difference.
And it's also just kind of a nice thing to do, right? I mean,
That's very nice thing.
Yeah.
Gently
passing it on to the next soloist.
Damn, these things are not working so well. So anyway, that's our feeling about long solos.